But I could not find anything inaccurate in what he said. Again, I understand it was blasphemous to this burgeoning, like I said, burgeoning woke theocracy is trying to be established in this country. Everything he said was ideological heresy. But I couldn't find anything factually speaking, inaccurate. Nothing stood out to me as, oh my God, this is like off the far end of that ridiculous propaganda scale that I talked about with when I was doing the types of propaganda back in the day. Fox News is watched by infinitely more people each day than any other news network. Why? They've seen the boomerang and gotten ahead of its arrival. Fox understands the simple and painfully clear demographic math at play here. This country's still 60% white, whether you like it or not. It's true. Basic tribal psychology makes it obvious to anyone not embracing willful political ignorance that it's better business to appeal to rather than alienate the majority. It's better business to appeal to rather than alienate the majority. That's what Fox News does. These other networks, they made a decision to attack the majority. We'll see how this plays out in the end. I understand that they think that long-term minorities, that whites are actually going to be the minority in this country. They may be right about that. That probably factors into a lot of immigration policy. That's not wrong. Have I told you the story about the guy in New Mexico? There's something behind that. It's not conspiracy theory. He admitted this to me in 2004. I worked in Taos, New Mexico for a radio group down there that was owned by a family who had at some point immigrated from Mexico. They moved to Taos. He got involved in politics. He bought a radio station, blah, blah, blah. First job I had after moving to New Mexico. His brother, he didn't like me. He didn't like white people. He didn't like white people at all. We got along okay, but you could tell. And he looked at me one day, he sneered, and he was like, we're just going to move in and take over, don't you? We're going to move in, we're just going to take over. We're going to keep coming and coming and coming. Eventually, you're going to be the minority. Dead serious about that. I don't know if he meant Mexicans. I don't know if he meant minorities. I don't know what he meant exactly. But the implication, the very clear implication, coming from a Mexican in Taos, New fucking Mexico, they have them there, was that, yeah, there is a racial and political insurgency afoot, an intentional one. There's something to that. I'm not saying we should stop it. I'm not saying we should end immigration. I'm not saying we should throw all the Mexicans out. I love Mexicans. I love Mexico. I still support immigration, legal immigration. I don't see anything wrong with somebody coming up here from Guatemala and Honduras. I've been to those places. I've seen how they live. I understand why they want to come here. I support it. Done the right way. But when you're using that as a political weapon to cynically disenfranchise the majority, what are you doing? And people are supposed to, they're supposed to ignore this. So this is the calculus I think that they've done. They think that long term, the long game, that it's smart to start demonizing the majority, the white majority in the country. And that's exactly what they've done. What do you think the term whiteness means? It's not a term of endearment. White supremacy, whiteness, white privilege, white this, white that, white this, white that. They're demonizing the majority. I get that. I understand it. I do. In the short term, to go back to Fox, as far as business goes, that's why they have more viewers. That's why they're dominating as MSNBC and CNN. They chose to appeal to the majority. I want to delve into that a little bit deeper because I know demonization. I did a little bit of a deep dive, not quite as deep as I wanted to go, but I did a deep dive into agitation propaganda a few years ago in 2019. The episodes are back there, August of 2019. Go listen. Go look. Go find them. Go listen to them. It inspires, it triggers, it manipulates hatred. Hatred that is already there, just beneath the surface, waiting for an excuse to come out. You have to demonize somebody. But that leads no place good. That is, agitation is the propaganda of insurgency.